guys, it's Charlotte. Welcome back to the vlog. Welcome to my little monthly reset routine. This is my February reset vlog. I'm so excited to film this video. I am in desperate need of a reset right now. If you guys are new here, hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Charlotte. I'm a senior at the University of Michigan and I post a lot of college, lifestyle, and productivity content here on YouTube. These monthly reset vlogs are some of my favorite videos to film literally ever. I think they're so relaxing and they're so just like nice for me to get my life organized and kind of, I don't know, get ready and reset for a brand new month. If you're new here, I do these videos every month, so if you enjoy them, make sure you tune in and subscribe to the channel down below so you don't miss any of my monthly reset routine vlogs. Also, please don't mind my hair right now. I did heatless curls last night and they did not turn out the way that I was expecting, so we've got a little bit of a Shirley Temple vibe going on right now, but it's okay. I think hopefully they'll calm down as the day progresses. This reset vlog is going to be a little bit different than some of my other ones just because I didn't do one for January, so I didn't set a ton of goals for January. So I don't really have any kind of like goals to go over or like progress to track for January. And we'll talk about this when we get to the goal setting portion of the video, but January was not a good month for me. So we're kind of just going to be focusing in this video on my goals for February, like looking forward rather than looking back. But we will get there in a little bit. Kind of the way that I want to do this video, very traditional monthly reset routine style. I want to clean up my room, really like deep clean and organize. My room is a disaster right now. Not only has it just like deteriorated over the course of however long it's been since I've cleaned it, like I've got clothes on the floor and stuff. It's also very cold and snowy and wintry here in Michigan right now. So there's like road salt on my carpet that I need to vacuum up. So we're gonna get started by deep cleaning my room. This is always one of my favorite parts of the video. We are going to clean up, kind of organize, deep clean, vacuum, and I'm gonna throw in a load of laundry as well. Then we're gonna move into the second half of the video, which is going to be kind of the more like mental reset. I feel like the first half of the video is like my physical reset, cleaning my room. The second half is more like a mental reset. That's where I go over, you know, I set up my new Notion spreads, I set up my new bullet journal spreads, and we go over my goals and kind of intentions for the month. So welcome to the vlog. I hope you guys are as excited as I am, and let's get started by cleaning up this room.
Spinning like a broken record. For a player, you don't know that many major chords. We hang out and then you get bored, and you leave me here like I'm your landlord. You come back and say I'm sorry, boo, and I know you never mean it, gets you in though.
rug is vacuumed. I've got laundry going. I've got candles burning. The vibes right now, they are immaculate, I have to say. Vibes are excellent right now. I have not cleaned in a really long time, you guys. Like I mentioned kind of at the beginning, January was a super rough month for me, so I really wasn't putting a lot of effort or energy into maintaining my space. So it feels really nice to clean everything up and kind of get everything back into functioning order. It's been a really long time since everything felt like clean and organized and put away, so that is just a really good feeling. First things first, we're gonna kind of go over my stuff from January. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I don't have a lot. I didn't really set any super defined goals for January. It was all very broad, bigger picture, like year-long kind of goals in my 2023 reset vlog. So I didn't really focus on January specifically, but I thought it would be fun to kind of go through my habit tracker, I guess, and see how we did. So I really wasn't super good about filling in my bullet journal during January either, so this isn't like the most accurate thing in the world, but my 9 habits, let's see how we did. These are my 9 habits. They're kind of separated by like morning, afternoon, night / like any time of day. I think for all of them I was definitely like less than 50%, which kind of sucks. So we're really honestly just gonna move on to February, to setting my February goals. Although I do want to show you guys my screen time tracker because I'm so proud of it. So this is one of the new spreads that I've started doing in January. I'm going to hopefully do it for the rest of the months as well, but this is my screen time tracker. One of my like long-term goals is to spend less than 6 hours a day on my phone. So I kind of track how much time I spend each day on my phone, and you guys can see, obviously like we're not completely done with the month yet, but I only went over 6 hours twice in this month, which is insane because my screen time used to be so high. I got like right up next to 6 a couple of times, but I only actually went over 6 twice. So I was really proud of that. Did I just replace it with watching TV on my laptop? Maybe, but progress is progress. A win is a win. I'm definitely like, this is helping me a lot kind of get out of the habit of scrolling on social media. I am so bad with scrolling, or I used to be. I would just sit and scroll for literally hours, and that's just not a good use of time. That's not a productive use of time. So I'm really proud of myself for kind of breaking that habit and getting out of it. I am definitely the kind of person where I like to have something on in the background while I'm doing something. So like while I'm cleaning, like I have a TV show playing and I'm just listening through my AirPods, and I'm not even watching it. I'm just like listening to it play while I'm doing something else. So I should probably just switch that over to like podcasts or audiobooks or something, but we are not there yet. The only other thing that I have for January are my book reviews. I have 2 full book reviews done in my bullet journal, and I'm halfway through another book. So we now are going to move on to my favorite segment of the vlog, literally ever. I love chatting with you guys about my books. So we're gonna go over the books that I read in January and the books that I hope to read in February as well. Okay, welcome to this corner of my room. Literally since the fall, I've been doing my book review segment over here, so it's kind of just tradition at this point. But welcome to our little book review segment. I'm so excited. So in January, I read 2 full books, and I'm like 60% of the way through another one, so I will probably finish that before the month is over. So we're gonna say I read 3 books in January, which is definitely on target for me. I wanna read 30 books this year, at least 30 books this year. So that kind of is like, if I read 2 to 3 books a month, that'll put me on track. And it's just nice to like already be on track for that the first month of the year. I'm also very particular about what months I read different books in. Like each book to me feels like a specific month, and I will like hold off on reading books that I'm really excited about until a specific month, which is kind of weird, but that's just how I am. So these are the 3 books that I read in January. We're gonna go over them quickly. I also feel like the lighting over here is terrible today. It's usually brighter. Is that like a little bit better? I know it's not exactly the same angle that we normally do, but I feel like lighting is more important. Okay, anyway, this was the first book that I read this year. This was The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. Here is the little back cover if you want to pause and read it. I chose this book because I've been really off of romance kind of like at the end of 2022. I just really like was over it. I just didn't feel like reading any romance books. So I wanted to give this one a try because I used to love romance books and it was pretty good. I'll show you guys my book review. I don't usually do this, but I'll show you guys my book review. The book reviews do have spoilers though. So if you haven't read the books and you don't want spoilers, if you think you're going to read them, spoiler warning. I rated this 4 out of 5 stars. You can pause to read this more in depth if you want to. But I've been putting a lot more effort into my book reviews recently, like printing out pictures and everything to kind of like suit the vibe. It was cute. It was a very like YA romance. I liked it. The second book that I read in January is called What Comes After by Joanne Tompkins. I actually picked this up in the airport. So I went to Phoenix, Arizona with my family for New Year's for a football game. While we were at the airport, we stopped at one of those little airport bookstores and this one really caught my eye and it seemed super interesting. Here's the back if you want to pause and read it for yourself. But it like really grabbed my attention in the airport and I was like, oh my gosh, this seems like it would be really, really good. And it was not. I really didn't like it that much, like almost at all. I rated this one 2 out of 5 stars. I really just we didn't vibe. Here's the book review if you want to read a little more in depth. I just like was unimpressed with this book. I thought it had so much potential. It looked really good. It looked really interesting and unique and it was just weird. I just didn't like it. And then finally, the last book that I'm currently in the middle of reading but am probably going to finish before January is over is Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna. This is the back if you want to pause and read. I'm about this far and into it. I'm like 2/3 of the way done with this book. This is about World War II Russia, which I think is really interesting. I've never really read any World War II books, even though I know it's like a really popular genre. I've just never really like dipped into that before. But this is really interesting, really different than anything I've ever read, but definitely still really good. I usually will read like 50 to 100 pages of this at a time at night. So it's like really captivating. I will keep you guys updated over on my Instagram when I finish this. That's when I post like my real-time book reviews. But those are my 3 little January books. Overall, pretty good month. We had 1 hit, 1 miss, and 1 currently reading, so could have been better, could have been worse. For February, I have 3 books that I'm planning on reading. We'll see if we'll actually finish all of them, but the 3 that I'm planning on reading, I have 2 of them here, and 1 of them is coming in the mail. The first one is this book called Other Birds by Sarah Addison Allen. I saw this at Books A Million, also over Christmas. First of all, I mean, can we take a moment for the cover? Like, it's beautiful. But this really grabbed my attention. I wanted this to be a January book. I just didn't get around to it, which like really burns me up. So I think I'm just gonna try to finish Winter Garden and then start reading this like immediately. If I can like get it in, start reading it at January, I think I'll feel better. It's also not super long, so I might just like blow through it in, you know, a couple days, but we'll see. But then of course, February is Valentine's Day month, so I wanted to get a couple romance books. The first one that I have planned is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. I have been hearing things about this book for literally years at this point. I went to Barnes & Noble, I had a gift card, and this one was just calling my name, and I mean, the cover is so pretty. Like, the cover is pretty enough to justify buying this book. Here is the back. So I think this is gonna be a really cute little romance just in time for Valentine's Day. And then the third one is actually coming in the mail. It's not here yet. It's supposed to be here on February 1st, but it's called Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. It's actually the sequel to a book that I read in September. It's the sequel to this book, Things We Never Got Over, which if you remember from my September, or I guess it was my October reset that I talked about this book, I loved it. Loved it so much that I literally like folded the last page, immediately got on Amazon and pre-ordered the sequel. So that is coming on February 1st. And I'm going to be reading that at some point during February. So that is everything that's going on in my reading world. I am really happy with the way it's going so far. I really love reading. It's just like, I don't know, it feels like a better use of my time than just like scrolling on my phone. So again, if you guys are looking for more like real-time updates on the books that I'm reading and like my reviews of them as I finish them, head over to my Instagram. It's linked down in the description below. And I post on my stories about like, if I, you know, got a new book, or if I start a new book, or if I finish a book, I'll post a little like mini review. So head over there if you're interested. But that is a wrap on the books. Now we're gonna head back over to my desk and we are going to finish up with like my February Notion spreads and bullet journal spreads and do some goal setting for February. Okay, so like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it's going to be a little bit different the way that we do my goal setting section. Last year I did really good with setting goals and like habits for each month, but they tended to be the same, like they were repetitive every month. And then I didn't really feel like I was reaching for anything. Like every month felt kind of repetitive, not in a bad way, just in a kind of routine sort of way. Like every month didn't feel distinct. And this year, especially with January being kind of a rough month for me, like I've kind of mentioned, I really want to make February feel really different. Like honestly, kind of treating February like this, like we're starting over, like the year is starting over, really just like a new starting point. So I have kind of reorganized the way that I'm going to do my goals. I actually just spent a bunch of time in between filming those two segments, writing down my goals, really planning them out and organizing them in a way that makes sense to me. I will say it's very different than what I had been doing in the past. So we are going to get into what my goals are for February, how I'm organizing them, all of that kind of stuff. And I'm going to do those in my Notion, but the first thing that I want to do is update my Notion with you guys. So if we come over here into my Notion, you can see this is what it looks like right now. I haven't updated it. This has looked the same since the summer. So obviously I update the information here, like I'll update the dates and everything, and I'll update my goals and my daily habits, but like the pictures and the theme, my banner, has all been the same since the summer. So what I would like to do is go in and find some pictures on Pinterest that are kind of like February, like vision board themed, I guess, kind of like find what I'm envisioning for February based on the goals that I've set and update the pictures in my Notion to kind of match that vibe. And then once I'm done with that, we will go through it and together we'll actually go in and set my goals for February. So let's go in quick and switch out these pictures in Notion and then we'll get to goal setting. The Notion is all updated. It looks so good. I still need to like get used to it a little bit. I'm used to the way that it was, but I am trying to switch things up a little bit and I'm actually really happy with the way it turned out. But we updated my banner. It says Hello February. I think I'm gonna try to update this as the months go on. I changed my little icon to be this little pink tulip rather than just the houseplant. That might get changed back because I love the houseplant emoji so much. But we updated my pictures. I very clearly leaned into the pink for February. I just think it looks so cute and like girly and I don't know, it just feels like February. So we've got kind of like a reading aesthetic, pink flowers kind of vibe going on. And now together we are going to set up my goals for February. So like I mentioned, this is going to be a little bit different. Basically, the way that I'm doing this is I want to have 3 like big goals that are like a little more abstract, and then I would have like the ways that I'm gonna measure those goals kind of built in. So something that I really tried hard to do in 2022 was set goals that I could measure. So I would say, you know, instead of like spend less time on my phone, I would say spend less than 6 hours a day on my phone. But that kind of got me into a mindset of like my goals were like to-do list items sort of, and I kind of want to get away from that a little bit and make them more like overarching sort of goals, if that makes any sense. So what I did was I referred back to my New Year, New Goals spread in my bullet journal. If you want an in-depth tour of this, go check out my 2023 reset vlog. That is where I set all of these up. But I basically went into each of my kind of like larger year-long goals in here and tried to think, okay, what small things can I do during February to help me reach these larger year-long goals? And I came up with 3 larger goals and a bunch of different subcategories to go along with them. So my first goal of February is to live intentionally. I want to really make sure that everything I do, or almost everything I do, like a majority of the things that I do in February are done on purpose. Really making sure that I'm like taking charge of my life, that I'm not just being like a passive passenger in my life, that I'm like that I'm the one driving the car, not that I'm just like along for the ride, if that makes sense. So the way that I'm going to achieve that, or the way that I'm hoping to achieve that, is with 3 little sub goals. These are the more like measurable ones. So I want to journal every morning. This is basically going to be, this can be a couple different things, but I want that to be the way that I start my mornings, is with journaling. That can be actually physically writing out like, my goal for the day is X, Y, and Z, or writing maybe like a daily affirmation. I love to do my daily affirmations on Finch. Doing some kind of journaling or reflection in the morning is, I think, going to kind of help me set up a healthy morning routine and get my days started on the right foot. On the flip side, I want to do the same thing at night. I want to kind of fill out my bullet journal spreads every night, which we'll go over in the next segment. Rather than just finishing my work and then going straight to bed, I want to have just a moment, even if it's, 10 or 15 minutes at the end of each day, to just reflect on my day, reflect on how I'm feeling, how the day went, what I'm grateful for, what my highs were, what my lows were, and just kind of paying closer attention, I guess, to what's going on in my life. I think that's going to help me live more intentionally. And then my final goal for living intentionally is to not do any mindless scrolling on social media. I'm a pretty big procrastinator, so I tend to just go on Instagram or TikTok and scroll whenever I'm avoiding something, whether it's conscious or subconscious. So I really want to pay attention to when I'm doing that, like when I'm scrolling a lot, kind of reflect and think like, okay, what am I avoiding? What am I trying to get away from? What am I trying to push off? And that will hopefully reduce my screen time, which of course is always one of my goals. I want to maintain like less than 6 hours of screen time per day. I've been doing really well with that. So I want to maintain that habit. So that is the like large umbrella of goal number 1, to live intentionally in February. My second overarching goal for February is to prioritize my mental health. I don't need to drag down the vibes of this vlog by explaining everything that was negative about January, but like I've said a couple of times, January was just not my month. I was just in the dumps like a lot of the time, to be quite honest. Like the seasonal depression was hitting, the anxiety was at an all-time high for most of the month. It was not a good mental health month for me, and part of that was external factors, but I think another part of that was that I didn't really put in the work that I needed to be doing to maintain my own mental health. So in February, I want to change that, and I want to put in the work. And of course, my little sub bullet points will help me with that as well. So we've got 4 little sub bullet points for this goal. First thing I want to do is my daily affirmations or reflection. This pairs really nicely with my journal every morning goal from the first set of goals. I also want to maintain a clean space. I think this is very common, but I've found that my mental health is very strongly correlated with the state of my room. So if I'm not feeling my best, my room doesn't look its best. And on like the flip side of that, if my room doesn't look its best, I don't feel that good. So I really want to just maintain my space, pick up my clothes up off the floor, make my bed every day, that kind of thing. Just like keeping a nice, happy space that I can, come into and feel good in. I think that'll help a lot in the long run. Next, I want to read 3 books. We already went over the books that I'm going to read for February, so we already know what's going on with that, but reading just makes me really happy, and it helps me kind of like put my own problems in perspective, I guess, to like live other lives for a brief amount of time every day. So I like to read at night before I go to bed, which also helps keep me off my phone, which is super nice. And then finally, this one is, I think, the one that I'm going to struggle with the most, but I'm going to try really hard. I want to do like morning Pilates or like a morning hot girl walk or some kind of morning workout 2 or 3 times a week. I did really well with this back at like the end of last semester, and then when I went home for Christmas break, it all kind of fell off. So I have done this before. I just need to get back in the habit of doing it, and the start of a new month is the perfect time to start that. And I have found that getting some exercise, especially in the morning, is a really, really great way for me to start my day out on a good foot. So that is why that one is kind of under the mental health category, even though it also pertains to physical health. And then finally, I have one last like umbrella goal and a couple more sub goals to go with it. My third overarching goal for February is to plan ahead to reduce my stress levels. Like I mentioned, my anxiety and my stress levels were just really, really high in January. So obviously it's not healthy to live like that. So I want to reduce those stress levels in February, really focus on staying calm, maintaining my peace. And for me, I'm a big planner, so planning ahead and kind of knowing what's coming up for me is a really big part of that. I have 4 little categories again to help me achieve this goal. First, I want to actually like send applications out to 5 big girl jobs. If you guys are new here, you didn't know, I'm a senior. I'm graduating at the end of this semester and I'm hoping to get a job and move out and really get started on my quote unquote big girl life. So I want to apply for some jobs and try to kind of plan out how that's gonna go. Next, this one I always laugh about when I set this as a goal, but I'm gonna try to take this really seriously in February. I want to have my assignments done 24 hours before they're due. Like I mentioned, I'm a really big procrastinator, so this one usually gets the better of me. I don't normally achieve this goal, but it always stresses me out when I save things to the last minute, so I want to try to stop doing that. In terms of my like professional social media career, I want to do more content planning so that way I'm not feeling like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna post today or what am I gonna post this week? I do a pretty good job about doing this on YouTube. I content plan basically in like 1 month chunks. So even though this is my first video of February, I think, or like one of my first February videos, I already know basically every video that I'll be doing this month. But I want to start doing the same thing with Instagram and TikTok. We'll see how that goes. Of my priorities, this one is like a little bit lower, but still something that I'm aware of for February. And my last goal, I get really stressed out about food. Not about like eating food, but like planning what I'm going to eat, or like I get home at the end of the day and I'm starving. I'm like, I don't know what to eat. I don't know what to cook. Like that is always just kind of a bother for me. So I'd like to get into meal planning in February. I did just start using HelloFresh, which has been mostly successful. So I'm hoping that is gonna help because I will be getting like planned out meals 3 times a week. And that rounds out my 3rd kind of umbrella goal to plan ahead and reduce my stress levels. Those are my 3 big goals that I want to focus on for February. I am really excited to see how this system of goal setting works for me. Like I mentioned, this is the first time that I'm doing this sort of, I don't know, abstract goal setting method. So we'll see how it works. I will update you guys in my March reset vlog to see how it went, and we'll see how we did on these goals. But now that those are all in here in my Notion, we are all set with my Notion, and the last thing we need to do is my bullet journal. Y'all know my bullet journal is one of my favorite things ever, and I have a couple of different spreads that I want to do for February that we are going to work on together. So I'm gonna throw on some oldies music. I'm going to finish up my little Starby, and we're going to make these bullet journal spreads for February.
Don't need no therapist. There's nothing like wine.
It got kind of dark while I was working, but I am done with the spreads. I'm so happy with the way they turned out. Let me show you guys how they look. So again, I really leaned into the like pink girly, like Valentine's Day kind of trend for February. So over on this side, we've just got the little mini calendar for the month, and then my kind of like opening page spread. I think this is so cute. Then if we flip the page, we have my habit trackers and my daily highlight. So I track 9 habits. You can see what they are here. I have make my bed, do my morning journal, and then I didn't put a title on this one, I forgot, but this is like my wake up, shower, eat breakfast, brush my teeth kind of like morning routine. So I just need to fill in that little title, I guess, but that's what that one is. Then we have post my Instagram stories, close my exercise ring, drink a full bottle of water, read, do my evening journal, and do my less than 6 hours of screen time. And then down here, I have a little box for my obsessions of the month. I like to track these to see like what I'm really into each month, and then it's fun to kind of like go back and see. Then over here, this is my daily highlight page. This is pretty self-explanatory. This is where I write like the best thing that happened during each day, and there's a little space for each day of the month. Then if we flip over here, these are my last 2 spreads. These are where I'm going to track my screen time and where I sleep like when I'm sleeping during the day. So those are all the spreads. I think they're so cute. I ended up really liking the pink theme too. I didn't know if I would, but I really like the pink. Okay, and with the bullet journal spreads all done, that is gonna be it for this reset vlog, you guys. I just have a feeling about February. I think it's going to be a much better month than January. I am really, really excited to see where it takes us. I feel like I made a lot of progress already, and the month is just barely started for me. This is the last day of January, or do we have one more day left? I don't even remember at this point. But for you guys, I know it's the very beginning of February, and I hope you all have a fantastic month. I hope you guys are excited. I hope this helped motivate you, or if you were feeling a little bit blue in January like I was, I hope this kind of helped you realize you're not alone. You're not going through it by yourself. I am right there with you. Winter is a tough time, so take care of yourself. Try to prioritize yourself and your mental health and feeling as good as you can. My DMs are always open if any of you ever need to talk, so I hope that this video was helpful for you if you're feeling a little bit down. You guys and your comments and all the love and support on my channel always cheers me up tremendously like you wouldn't believe, so I just also wanted to say thank you guys for that. You guys really helped me get through a pretty rough patch, so thank you guys for that. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like on it for me down below and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But that's it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.